Hello and welcome back to the Bible Library series. And today we have a fascinating book. Yes, we're still in the epistles, and yes, we're still in the Pauline epistles. Those are written by St. Paul. And today is about the book of Titus. Titus is the person he's writing to, like most of these books, right? Thessalonians, let's do the Thessalonians, Corinthians, to those in Corinth, the Corinthians, etc., etc. Timothy, which we've had, and now Titus. Titus is kind of similar to First Timothy, actually. Paul is writing to a young leader in the church, young pastor, if you will, um, and kind of telling him how to be the church. Titus is most likely stationed in the island of Crete, modern-day Crete, which is now part of Greece, but back then it wasn't, obviously. But yes, been to Crete, beautiful part of the world. Anyway, and yes, Paul is writing, explaining what it means to be the church. And kind of like what we saw with First Timothy, there's certain questions that Timothy obviously must have had from previous interactions, and here Titus has as well. Titus has his own set, I should say. The big theme, I would say, is one that Lutherans might react to, well, kind of like this, right? Good works. Not that we don't value good works, of course, as Martin Luther is credited as saying, God doesn't need your good works, but your neighbor does. And so this idea of good works, no, we do not believe as Lutherans that they are needed for salvation, that our good works do not save, but rather they are needed as being part of our discipleship. So if you're looking at wrestling with this idea of good works and how they're important to our faith, or if they are or not salvific, like I said, we confess they are not, but there are other Christians that do, this is the book for you. Sorry, Rex is wanting my good work of letting him outside to chase the birds at the moment. Sorry about that. If you can hear him. I would also say that this, not only is the theme good works, but where is this on our timeline? I think this is something that I was asked about with all these books, that they're not in the order chronologically they were written, right? If you talk about 2 Timothy was it was the last book Paul wrote, and First Thessalonians and some others from the earlier ones. Where does this one fall? This is after Paul's first imprisonment, before he is, or actually, it's probably right after he's released. So kind of how the book of Acts ends with Paul. He's arrested. He does get freed because his accuser does not come forward, and so he is freed to travel again and such. This is kind of like the middle, I would say. We'll say middle of his journeys. So to chronologically see where we are. Titus is not a super long book, but like I said, it really wrestles with some key ideas. We get more sound doctrine. We get the idea of elders. Perhaps you've heard of, I know like our Missouri Synod Lutheran folk and others use the elder format. This is where it's from, is the book of Titus. So anyway, if this is the book that you're looking for, I'd say it's a shorter read, looking to talk about the idea of good works, continue the theme of being the church. I think if you are doing, I have heard that some people are doing the Pauline challenge, the St. Paul challenge, trying to read all the Paul epistles. So here's another one to knock out easily, really, if you want to get ahead. Read all the short ones first. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy Titus, and we'll be back for even a shorter epistle of Paul's tomorrow.